Anyway, my headline: Bipartisan lawmakers claim credit for Biden administration's marijuana rescheduling recommendation. We got nothing else to talk about in Washington, so we're just going to ride this dead horse until the DEA says something. So for the next year, that's all you're getting from me. Maybe a little safe banking thrown in. The news: the TOPS U.S. Health Agency is recommending rescheduling marijuana is earning applause from congressional lawmakers across the aisle, including long-standing bipartisan champions of reform like Senator John Fetterman and Representative Dave Joyce, who are claiming partial credit for the development. Numerous lawmakers have responded with enthusiasm after it was reported on Wednesday that the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services advised the DEA that it believes cannabis should be moved from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 under the Controlled Substance Act following a scientific review directed by the president last year. Those responses continue to pour in, with advocates and industry stakeholders now contemplating the broader implications of rescheduling, and some legislators want a piece of the credit for their years of advocacy. Who's this coming from? This is Fetterman. For many, many years now, I've been pushing for decisive action on marijuana. Nearly 1 year ago to the day, I met with President Biden in Pittsburgh and requested that he and his administration do something on marijuana policy. Yesterday's move is a massive win for the Biden administration and a strong step in the right direction on marijuana policy. I'm glad to see that the administration agrees with what we have known for a while. Marijuana should not be a Schedule 1 drug. Fetterman added a word of caution, however. He said, "We should also be clear that we have been in this exact spot before with science on the side of rescheduling, only to have the DEA and its destructive war on drugs mindset block reform. That must not happen again." Joyce, co-chair of the Congressional Cannabis Caucus, said in a statement shared with Marijuana Moment that he's pleased to see the administration is acting on my request to re-examine cannabis antiquated Schedule 1 classification, referencing a 2021 letter he sent President Joe Biden, alongside the late former Cannabis Caucus co-chair, Representative Don Young. This is an important first step on a long road to correct the wrongs in the war on cannabis and prevent the rise of an ineffectively regulated and therefore harmful market. Adding that the administration should take the next step forward and partner with Congress on legislation he's sponsoring with House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries to prepare the government for federal legalization. He also said the next steps for Congress should involve passing bipartisan marijuana banking and expungements legislation that he's sponsoring. Salem, shut up! As I've noted many times before, we cannot stop at rescheduling and must pursue a full descheduling of cannabis. This remains up to Congress. I strongly encourage leaders on both sides of the aisle to respect the will of over 40 states and nearly 70% of the American electorate to work together to deschedule cannabis once and for all. Another Republican lawmaker, Representative Tim Burkett, also weighed in on HHS rescheduling development, saying marijuana should not be on the same schedule as heroin. That's notable given the congressman previously criticized House Democrats for prioritizing cannabis reform ahead of a legalization vote in 2020. Representative Steve Cohen, a longtime vocal supporter of marijuana legalization, also claimed some credit for the administration's move. "I told the DEA I called Secretary Becerra about rescheduling marijuana, and I did. Now HHS has recommended that the DEA reschedule cannabis from Schedule 1 down to 3, thanks to Secretary Becerra for following through. Marijuana should have never been Schedule 1. DEA, let's get it done." Representative Ted Lieu also commented on rescheduling, arguing that spending even 1 penny of federal tax dollars to criminalize cannabis is stupid. Pleased to see HHS recommend the DEA remove cannabis from Schedule 1. HHS recommends that cannabis be listed under Schedule 3. I urge the DEA to remove cannabis from any schedule. Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman said Thursday she applauds the HHS for appropriately reclassifying marijuana. And while the work to end the failed war on drugs is not over, this adjustment is a step forward in the right direction. I think we will continue to see folks jumping on the bandwagons, saying they did this. Dude, I've never seen Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman out there on cannabis anywhere. But what the hell? I don't really agree with her assessment that this is the way to go, but we will see many others from Washington. A little scuttlebutt around town is maybe the DEA is not going to go along. We shall see. This is Gretchen for High at Night News.